All right, guys, Eric from the Wait For It podcast here with another guest interview. We have the wonderful Daniel Kash here, and from franchises like The Expanse to, of course, Aliens, we had to interview him, and really a lot of the guests that are here. Daniel, I wanted to ask, is this something that you were looking forward to, having such a big kind of reunion of people that you know and people from such a big franchise? How has that been for you?
40 years ago, we all met each other for this. Aliens was my first job. And we all met each other. And I don't think any of us had any idea we'd be talking to each other 40 years later. But it's become a strange little interesting social group that we're now addicted to. So we go to these places because of cons. And we usually go out together. And now we're like a real community. And we care about each other, and it's nice. I love seeing them again.
I think one thing that's really awesome, whenever I hear about actors, and this is on TV shows to right here in person with you, you get to meet people. Has it been a little bit of deja vu, like you guys picked up where you left off, or are you really getting to know each other, find out what you've missed out on over the years? Because I always hear that whenever you've been with a cast for a long time or for a big project, it can be one of those two things.
I think we know a lot about how we're doing these days. We see each other once in a while now because Comic-Cons have become part of our lives. So we actually do socialize enough, and it is like that when you're doing a movie or doing a play or whatever. You really do become overly close. I fall in love easily, I have to say. And it's not actual love or whatever, or maybe it's actual love as opposed to sexual. I easily befriend people or care about them. And there are many groups in my life that's happened with when I've gotten together with big projects and small projects, but this certainly is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And is this your first time coming into Florida? And if not, what kind of brings you back to Florida? You have so many options for cons. Is there anything about Florida that stands out that keeps bringing you back to this location?
Are we in Florida?
I think so. North Florida, South Florida, it's all the same.
Well, it's freezing in Canada right now, and that's where I live. I live in Toronto, and it's freezing. And so I was looking forward to some heat. Florida's got that.
It does.
It's cold at night here.
It is surprising how the weather can kind of twist and turn. You're getting every shade of Florida that we have to offer, which is always a fun question to ask. To wrap things up, I like asking this question when I first meet somebody about their fandoms. And this is a huge theme of what we do at conventions. For a lot of people, Aliens is a huge part of their fandom, something that really brought them up when they were younger. Is there anything like that that's served the same purpose to you, whether it was a form of media or elsewhere?
My favorite movie is Lawrence of Arabia. I care about it. I've passed it on to my children and they're supposed to care about it. I don't know if there's anything really specific that I can say that about, though. But because I have a lot of things that I think are special. My favorite this and my favorite that. So I don't know if I fall into that group. But you know what? It is to James Cameron's credit and Galen Hurd that a sequel, when the first Alien movie was so iconic, especially the first half of it in film history, that a sequel can mean so much to people 40 years later. And that's some special sauce that he owns. And this was one of the first great examples of how special his work is. And I can't even put my finger on exactly why that is. It was a scary movie. It was a beautiful movie. It had great characters, some interesting new characters. But he owns a little bit of magic that has taken the world on, and we all know that.
Yeah, and what better person to point to when he talks about fandom being created by someone like James Cameron?
It's him, man.
Yeah, he's him, for sure. Daniel, this was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and of course, we'll be doing more here at CollectiveCon.